Hey guys, welcome to London Lips YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new and welcome if you're not. So guys, I've been thinking about making content on this topic for a while, and I've just been taking my time, just watching, doing research, and just really deciding where I stand on this issue. But today, my decision was made. I saw the Honey Trap Killer on Bouncer's podcast. He was on Bouncer's channel, and he is, guilty of the murder of, Shaquilus. And my decision was made. So we're going to get into this video. This video is about prison podcasters. There are many, prisoner podcasters. They're like ex-prisoners. If you haven't seen them, there's many on here. And they spend a lot of their time, interviewing their ex-prisoner, pals and their connections. We're going to be talking about whether these guys should be online when they have so many victims. Now, we're going to start off with this Honey Trap Killer. The Honey Trap Killer, as I said, was involved in the murder of an innocent young guy. So we're going to talk about the story. Some of you may have seen it. It's actually a movie. If you haven't watched the movie, they made a movie about this killing. So the Honey Trap Killer, it was a girl, and what she done is basically this teenage girl. There was a 16-year-old boy, and he was absolutely into her, and she set him up, and he lost his life. So Samantha Joseph, who would have been 15 at the time, led Shaquilus Townsend into an ambush in a quiet cul-de-sac where he was beaten by a love rival and his gang with baseball bats and stabbed 6 times. The teenager bled to death after a relentless and merciless attack by a masked and hooded gang in Thornton Heath, South London. This happened in the summertime. It was July. A hot day. Everyone was enjoying the weather. Samantha Joseph, at the time she was 15, as I said, she laughed as the gang caught up with him, and she just walked away as they began their assault. Her older boyfriend, Danny McLean, plunged a knife into Shaquilus' chest. He raked it across his liver and twisted the blade. He was on the floor, bleeding to death. Shaquilus from Deptford, South East London, called out for his mother. So these were his last words, right? This poor boy called out for his mother, and he said, he was crying, and he said, "I don't want to die." Now, before I get into the joke sentences these guys were given for killing this poor guy, I'm going to talk to you a bit more about, how he got into this situation. So he met this girl. He met her at school. She came over from Trinidad. She was staying in, South London. She started their school. He started to talk to her. He liked her. She was a pretty girl. He began to treat her. He would buy her gifts, and he really, really liked her. She made a friendship with him, but she was in a relationship with a really terrible guy who treated her like shit, who wasn't really good to her, but he was attractive and she liked him. And she was pretty much prepared to do anything to hang on to this boyfriend who treated her like shit, but she still wanted to have, Shaquilus around her, treating her, being her friend, and giving her a lot of attention. Now, when things went, wrong with her boyfriend was fed up of her talking to Shaquilus. She was happy to, set him up to be killed if it meant she was going to be able to, be back with her boyfriend. What's even more sad is, the mother, she had met this girl. She had met Samantha, and he had told his mum he wanted to marry her. But she just told her friend she was just using him, and she was treating him pretty shit. She was just using him for what he could do for her. And it shows when a girl comes around your house and you see her and she looks cute and she looks young with your boy, with your son. Don't be fooled thinking this girl's just a sweet girl. You need to really get to know a lot more about the girl's character and what she is about. Yes, she came from a bit of a bad background, abuse and stuff like that, but you never think when someone's in your house being friends with your child that they're going to set your child up and your child is going to lose their life. Absolutely devastating. I want to read the statement that the mum said as well before I get onto the pathetic sentences these guys were given. His mum, who was only 34 at the time of their sentencing, said, "The reality is that these young people with no soul had such a disregard for life that they deliberately conspired to use manipulation to cause nothing short of destruction. It's absolutely soul-destroying for me. They should never be allowed to destroy another family. I may forgive them one day, but not today." All those years the mum put into raising her son, trying her best, spending time with her son, just loving on her child, just to never get to see him, really grow up, have his career, have his family, have grandchildren. He's never got to do all the things that, he's never got to do all the things that he should have. fulfill his dreams, go through the life struggles, come out of them. He never got to live his life because his life was so cruelly, wickedly, and unnecessarily taken. Now, we're going to go into the sentencing, and then I'm going to talk a bit more about these podcasters and having, these type of people, killers, murderers, just evil, on their platforms. It's a lot. So Samantha, who is the girl who lured him to his death, she was only given 10 years minimum. Shocking. Her boyfriend, who was the leader in this, Danny McLean, he was 18 at the time of sentencing. He's from Thornton Heath. He was found guilty of murder, and he was only given 15 years, a minimum of 15 years. Absolutely not long enough, okay? So let's talk about the other 5 who participated in this, and let's talk about their sentences. So we've got Andre Thompson, 17, from Norwood, South East London. A minimum of 14 years. I assume he's the one on the podcast, said he got 14 years. Then you've got these other 2. Now, these other 2, they've got, a sentence as well. Their sentence was 12 years, not very long again. So you've got London Irish rugby player Andre Johnson Haynes, 18, from Croydon, South London. Then you've got the brothers Tyrell Ellis, 19, and Don Carlos Ellis, 18, from Thornton Heath. And you've got Michael Akafenwa, 18, from Norwood. They all got 12 years. So the sentencing is pretty low. And let me just say this, when I read out them sentences, just think about it. I read out quite a few names right there, and all of them participated in the killing of one person. So how did wicked Samantha lure him to his death? Well, he thought he was on his way with her to meet her cousin, but in fact she was just taking him to get his life ended. She took him to be ambushed. She kept in touch with her boyfriend on the mobile phone, and she set him up so he could be killed, and he died on that pavement. So this poor boy was, stabbed. He was hit with a bat, and this is how he ended up dying. I believe he was stabbed like 6 times. So this group, they all ambushed this one guy, and then Samantha, she carried her boyfriend's hoodie. Blood was all over that hoodie. She had blood all over her cream handbag, the blood of Shaquila's. Pure undeniable evil. She spent her time later just trying to get rid of all of her traces of being in a relationship with him, with Shaquila's, because she didn't want to look like she's connected to him. She deleted his online Bebo account and told friends to erase his number from their phone. So she was very, active in the cover-up as well. All this poor boy done was fall in love, and falling in love, cost him his life, okay? So let's get on to what the main topic is now. Rest in peace to Shaquila's. Right, so the main thing is this, okay? We've got these podcasters out here, and most of them, as I said, are ex-prisoners, and they're bringing on their ex-prisoner friends, their links, their connects. The next prisoner might hook them up with another person to come onto their show. And there's victims out there, okay? So you've got the killer, the honey trap killer, sitting on a chair talking to his mate, Bouncer. So some of you guys may have seen the interview, some of you have not. And as I said, if you have not seen the movie, please do watch the movie so you can really get a real feel for what happened in this case. And read the articles as well, okay? Because what happened was really, really bad. So he's sitting here and he's talking about how he changed. He was the one that had, the baseball bat. And how he's out here to, help the youths nowadays so they don't do the same thing. And all I can see is a killer. All I can see is a killer. All I can see is this poor boy lost his life, and he will never get to sit on any sort of a platform and talk about anything. He'll never get to talk about kids he's got. He'll never be able to talk about how great it is growing up. He'll never be able to talk about his mom. He'll never be able to talk about anything. He'll never be able to see his sister, have a child and become an uncle. This boy is missing out on everything. It's just wrong. Yet the killer's sitting on the sofa, chilling. Is his mum meant to go onto the internet and see this guy's face? Audacity. Is she really meant to go onto the internet? Is his sister meant to go onto the internet and see this guy's face? Is his aunts, uncles, this whole family, everybody who loved him, his friends, meant to see this guy sitting on a sofa talking about it? Now, I was like drawing the line with the prison podcasters. I was saying, okay, they're here talking about kidnapping people, because he's not the only one that's been on. There's been ones on here talking about kidnapping people. being a hitman, rapes, all types of things. They've been on here admitting to all sorts of crimes. There's also been a whole load of them on here, calling out for their friends, trying to free up man this, free up man that. And the thing about it is, the victims are more important. Another prisoner podcast I was watching the other day, he was talking about how his victim, who he had stabbed, was dying, and on his deathbed, he told the police who he was, and his words were basically that he snitched to the police when he was on his dying bed. And you could tell he was still big mad and pissed that this guy had told the police his name before he had died. That's not remorse. That's not being sorry. The fact that you would even have the audacity to think of this poor guy who has died as being a snitch says it all. Now, a lot of these prisoners come out and they say, I'm doing the right thing now, I've got a job, I'm trying to help the youth, I'm becoming a better person, I've got a family now, I've settled down. Does that help the victim's family? Absolutely no. If it was someone I loved and they'd be murdered, that would piss me off even more. Yeah, I'd be even more angry. Because you know who's not going to be able to do that? The poor person who is dead. Okay? They're not going to be able to get their life right, get a job and do all these things. Instead of feeling like because they're doing the right thing, they can come out and talk, they should be thinking about the victims. And the real remorse is thinking about how the victims would feel. Do you really think the person who has been killed wants to hear that? They don't want to see your face, bro. Like, you shouldn't even be on road. Like, your sentence was too short, okay? You should be in prison right now. You should be in prison for the rest of your life because that guy has lost his whole damn life. Hip-hop tunes, gangster movies, they have made people lose their mind. They have made people think these sort of people are acceptable. They're trendy. They're popular. They've made people get the wrong opinion on what should be happening right now, because the truth is people should be on the team of the victim and the victim's family. I've heard of cases where the victims have gone to court and these guys are busting up laughing when they're getting sentenced. They don't care that somebody's died. They're threatening the victim's family members, arguing, the audacity to have their family members arguing with the victims' family members in the court, and they don't give a goddamn. And we could go onto the internet and see them on here just talking, free up man this. Some of them I've seen them on here and they pretty much said they don't feel sorry for the crime. They've been complaining that they were snitched upon, or he snitched on me even though the man has died. So I feel like any of us could be in the boat where we're victims and we're on here and we're seeing these guys just basically bragging on their crime or faking remorse, or even having the audacity to even talk about our relatives that they've killed, to even say the person's name or talk about them on a platform. It's absolutely disgusting in my opinion, and I'm no longer wavering on whether I think it's right. It's absolutely not right. I think we need to get more guys who have come from a poor background, who have, wore the cheap clothes, been through the struggle, gone through college just broke as hell, and got themselves into good jobs talking to the youths, more than we need to have so many ex-criminals talking to the youths, because the truth is we can't trust them. We can't trust them to not be pretending they're helping while they're grooming the kids. We can't trust them to be a good influence, and a lot of these guys are the parents of the kids who are terrible right now. Their kids didn't come out good, some of them, because they were drug dealing, because they were in prison, because they've surrounded their kid with a whole load of friends who have a whole load of kids that are bad too. So I don't think they're the solution to the problem right now. I just think we need to get more positive guys out there for people to look at. Because just because you come from a bad background, it doesn't mean you can't avoid some of these things. And we need to have more of the guys out there who avoided the thing altogether, never got involved in road life at all. As I said, walked around with the holes in their shoes and the holes in their socks, and avoided the groomers and got themselves a career and are living good now. That's more what we need to do, is influence the youths more down the educational pathway. It's like, I'm not going to get P. Diddy and make him do, the head of, protection for people entering the music industry when, he was one of the, the main predators in the entertainment industry. I'm not going to say you was a predator, so you're out here now to stop other people getting preyed upon. Like, nah, we need to give this role to somebody else. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think of these prisoners that are all, all over the internet right now? And what do you think about this honey trap killer having the audacity to sit down on the chair and be talking about somebody's dead child? Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on another one.